The following footage is brought to you by WouldYouKindly.com.
What happens when you take the most popular stealth series and give it to Platinum Games? You get Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance. Is it awesome, or should it just sneak away? Find out as the game machine starts now. Okay, first off, I'll say I never really played any of the Metal Gear games except part of the first Metal Gear Solid, so my review will be mainly from an action game fan perspective. You play as a cyborg ninja man called Raiden. Now, for the story of this game is one that I don't want to spoil, but pretty much Raiden, a cyborg ninja man, is working for a security group and a big series of events lead Raiden on a personal mission, and it goes through government conspiracies, saving children, and his own quest for revengeance. Yeah, what do you mean that's not a word? It's in the title, it's gotta be a word. Eat your face, grammar Nazis! Yeah. It's a fun action ride and shouldn't be taken too seriously. It does have some serious and even dark moments, but the story overall is over-the-top action and it's just plain fun. Yes, video games don't always have to be super serious. They can be fun. What? Stop
that plane!
Another thing Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance has going for it is its amazing presentation. The graphics are great and the action is intense, running on consoles at 60 frames per second. And the action is very fluid and fast. Some of the most epic moments in the game will be the boss encounters where you'll be killing some giant mechs and cyborgs in flashy, over-the-top ways. Oh, and really violent ways too. It also has some pretty interesting stages, one of them being like a Japanese-themed garden. The character designs are also really good, especially when you have a cyborg version of Antonio Banderas. And for the audio, the voice acting is well done and quite enjoyable. The soundtrack for Rising features electronic rock that is very fast-paced and fits really well in the game, and it gets the blood pumping for some action. Now the question is the game any good? Hell yeah it is. Of course you'll be comboing light and heavy attacks like any other action game, but the one amazing feature is the blade mode, which allows you to slow down time and chop up your enemies into little tiny bits by using the left analog stick and slice in any direction you choose. Also, you can use the attack buttons as well. This works great most of the time, and you will need this to recover your health. See, to refill your health and energy bar, you will need to rip out the spine full of electrolytes from your enemies. Wait a second. Electrolytes? What is that? What's that? Oh, they're made of Gatorade! Is it in you? Haha! Not anymore, it's now in me, fool! The only time blade mode can be an issue is when it has to be super precise. In one of the later boss battles, it can be really hard if you don't line up your strikes perfect. But luckily though, for that boss, it's not really required to beat him. And instead of dodging, you are giving a parry mechanic, which is essential in a fight, and allows you to pretty much defend yourself from attacks, but it does take some time and practice and can be tricky to execute sometimes. You have to execute this attack with the forward on the stick and an attack button, which probably would have been easier if it was just with one button, but it's a minor issue in the grand scheme of the game, because once you get the hang of it, you'll become a ninja master. The combat is the core of the game, and it's so fun to dismember bad guys and steal their Gatorade. It's very satisfying. You can also upgrade Raiden and earn new abilities, unlock new weapons, and even costumes. And as I mentioned, the presentation has a lot of great set-piece moments. It just makes you feel like such a badass. There are some moments where there will be QuickTime events, but it doesn't feel too overused, and when it is used, it's just pulled off so incredibly well. Trust me, when you cut a Metal Gear in half that's as tall as a frickin' building, you will truly understand the meaning of the word epic. Now, this game's no pushover either. Even on normal, it will kick your ass, and expect to die a lot, especially in the later levels. But once you figure out how to topple your foes, you will feel such achievement. Now, there is one more flaw in the game, and that is the camera. Sometimes you can lose sight of your foe, and sometimes get stuck in a wall, and you'll get punched pretty badly by the enemy if you're not careful because you can't see what you're doing. Now, there is one more topic of discussion that many will find issue with, but personally doesn't bother me in the case of Metal Gear Rising. The game time. Many people have claimed to beat it in under 4 hours. But the game time only shows you the quickest time played. It doesn't take into account the multiple attempts that you had on the stage, or even the cutscenes, just the quickest game time. My first playthrough took me over 7 hours. I did die quite a bit, and I did watch the cutscenes. You will die a lot your first time through, no doubt about it. Now I could see a second time being much shorter, but the first time I could see somebody who is really proficient, maybe 5 hours with cutscenes. On top of that, there are VR missions. People don't mention this. You can find and unlock these, which if you complete the VR missions, reward you with more money, and you can use it to upgrade Raiden. Also, the other awesome thing about this game is it doesn't really have any filler. The best thing about Platinum games is they've always been kind of notorious for being short. However, they don't have a lot of filler. They don't actually drag on. Ryzen feels like the perfect length, and it also encourages multiple playthroughs for the best score. Now, time can be an important factor in a game, I definitely understand. But in the case of Metal Gear Rising Revengeance, it's about the quality of the content, not how much they can throw at it. With all that said, Metal Gear Rising Revengeance is an amazing experience. Entertaining story, great presentation, and challenging but fun gameplay makes this worth it. And even if you're one of those people who thinks it isn't worth $60, I encourage you to play it. You definitely won't regret it. Kojima made a great choice in trusting Platinum Games with this task. So if you need someone to treat your cyber ninja with justice and respect that it deserves, then you can look no further than Platinum Games. So until next time, rip out some Gatorade and game on.
Adiós, amigos.
¿Viste? Qué raro, ¿eh? Hay que hacer que no lo vimos. Vámonos ya.